Hey everyone, Lauren Lakota here. It has been so long since I have connected with so many of you, and I wanted to jump on this page because when I first set up this page, I just had big hopes and aspirations, and I really thought it was the start of me creating and living the life that I really wanted to live. And my first point was to create a group like this group of like minded people who wanted to create the best versions of themselves. But life didn't quite pan out like that. And I wanted to jump on this page and share a little bit of that with you if you're interested to hear about it. Because while Meaningful May gave so much happiness to me, I loved doing it. I loved championing all of you. And I loved hearing your success and the action that so many of you were taking to create momentum in your life and to really move forward with your goals or whatever it is that you were working on. But then on the 1st of June, life for me was completely flipped on its head. And on the 1st of June, the day after Meaningful May finished and the day that I thought was, the next chapter in my life, I got a phone call from my mum, and she was on the other end of the line and told me that my nan had died that morning. And I remember just the gut-wrenching feeling in my stomach, and I didn't really know how to cope with it. And the next few weeks from there, I really didn't know how to cope with the grief. And actually, I did. The only way I knew how to cope with the grief was by working ridiculously long hours and coping through alcohol. And I had had previous experiences with coping through alcohol and working excessive hours, and I thought that I had moved beyond that. But I realized through the grief of that experience that I hadn't, and it was my coping mechanism that I resorted back to. So after about 6 weeks of just not knowing how to grieve, just feeling so much pain around the death of my nan and all of this stuff just coming, it was like an influx of triggers, and I just got unhappier and unhappier and just went to a darker and darker place and was working longer and longer hours and was coping through more and more alcohol intake. And I got to the point where I was working 17-hour days. And I remember I was in Melbourne for a work trip, and I remember waking up one morning. I was staying at my sister's, and it was the hardest morning of my life because I woke up with suicidal thoughts. And I woke up wondering if it was all worth it. And I just remember in that moment that I had hit rock bottom, and I really didn't know how I'd got there because I had spent the last few years just really trying to think positively and just trying to really create the best version of myself. And in that moment, I realized that I had so much more work to do and that I needed to look after myself. So I needed to take a step back, and I needed to, the first thing for me was that I had to admit to myself that I wasn't okay. And I called my husband, Michael, who was my partner at the time, and I remember I was in tears to him, and I just told him that I wasn't okay. I told my sister that I wasn't okay, and then the next step was to tell my work that I wasn't okay. And I just remember feeling so vulnerable in that moment because I had always been the person who didn't need to ask for help, and I could just go and work more and take on more. And to be in that situation that I was in, to feel as lost and sad and anxious as I did in that moment, I didn't really know where to go with it. And I remember that Michael flew down to Melbourne because I really wasn't in a good state of mind. And so he helped bring me back to Brisbane because that's where I was living at the time. And I took 6 weeks off work. And I worked with a psychologist, I worked with a coach, and I worked on just reconnecting with me, focusing on my health, reconnecting with nature, learning about me as a human being. And I think that was one of the toughest period of my life was one of the most eye-opening periods of my life. And it's something that's just made me realize that creating and living my ultimate life wasn't about being all things to everyone. It was about learning who I was as a person and learning about how I can connect more with the people that I care about, and learning how to essentially just learning how to be a human being and learning what happiness was. And there's so much that went into it, but I just remember it was 6 weeks of quite intensive recovery. I was at home in Brisbane at the time, and then I had a gradual return to work. So the next 6 months for me, and also Michael, I guess, being on the other end of the relationship, experiencing being the partner of someone going through what I was going through. I guess we went through a lot that in that 6 months. And I really just wanted to come on here and share that when I first started this page, I had every intention to create this amazing community and support this community of people who wanted to be the best that they could be. And that was my intention, and it's not what happened. And I can't change that. But I just want you to know that, if you were, whatever you were doing then, if you were looking to be healthier, or maybe you were looking to create better relationships, if you continued on that road, then good on you. And if you didn't, if life got in the way, if things happened, then it's okay. The biggest thing that I learned is just to be real and kind to yourself and make time for you. And I do things like meditation, and I totally suck at it. But it's one of the things is, I don't know, it's just so important to make time for you and just really connect with what it is that's important for you. And if you're not feeling happy, that's okay. But do something about it, share it with someone. Find a way to live a life that you feel happy about or feel excited about, because you deserve it. I deserved it. And it took me to hit rock bottom until I actually woke up and just realized that I wasn't creating my ultimate life. I was doing, I mean, I was in some ways, but I wasn't truly looking after myself. And, I don't know even what I'm trying to say anymore. I really just wanted to come on here and share that if you are, I know this time of year can be really exciting because it's been Christmas and it's been New Year's, but it's not exciting for everyone. And I think we all have something that we're struggling with. And so just know that you are not alone. And so what I have been doing over the last few years, what has it been, 3-4 years since we connected in this group, is I have had 2 daughters with my husband Michael. We have been married, and we moved down to Melbourne, and we have relocated back to Brisbane. And we are now creating a business where we are just so passionate about helping people create and live their ultimate life. And for some people, living their ultimate life is big, audacious dreams about creating a business and a lifestyle business. And for some people, it's about, just feeling happy in the career that they're in, and they want to know how to balance loving their career and spending time with their family. For some people, it's learning how to have deeper relationships, and for some people, everyone's got their own journey and everyone's got their own version of their ultimate life. And so that's what we are so passionate about, is sharing with people how they can create and live their ultimate life by really understanding who they are as a human being, because there's so many strategies, there's so many gurus out there showing you ways to live an awesome life, but ultimately it has to come down to you and what you want for your life, and helping you connect with who you are as a person, and what it is that makes you happy. So we have recently published a few products, and one of the products that I'm really passionate about is living your ultimate life. No, it's the top secrets to living your ultimate life. And then we've got some mini series and an online course on living your ultimate life. So if you want a free copy of the book, The Top Secrets to Living Your Ultimate Life, I'll include the link below. So feel free to click on it. I'd love to share it with you, and I'd love to hear your comments on it. And I trust that you are doing whatever you want to do for this New Year's coming, and we are moving into the next decade, right? My goodness. So keep a lookout, because I'm also going to be doing some Facebook groups, and I'm going to be doing a 5-day challenge on helping people really set their year up and decade up for success. So rather than just creating New Year's resolutions that we may not stick to come February, it's just it's a way to help you really identify with what's important to you and to your family, and helping you set up a really compelling vision and some awesome strategies to help you create and live your ultimate life. So first point though, I'd recommend checking out the top secrets to living your ultimate life, and I really look forward to hearing from you soon. All the best.